What's up, Samurai? We are back with some more Trove EVER. You'll have to excuse the video because it's probably going to stutter around a lot. I'm rendering right now. And, I mean, I might end up scrapping it just depending if it is atrociously stuttery in the recording. Because for me, it's still actually very playable. But anyways, I wanted to have an end of year discussion video with you guys, kind of talk about what my future plans are, what's the, more particularly, what's the plans with Trove, the channel, and kind of my New Year's resolution and stuff that's going to be going on with all of that. For the most part, I don't think too much is going to change. The only thing that I won't even say that I regret it for this year, but I kind of want to have a more casual style of live streaming. So in 2023, I actually did a couple live streams, not many, but I did a couple streams where I was just kind of sitting, chilling, and actually working on some behind the scenes projects. And I was just streaming that, just hanging out with you guys. And then I would, maybe there'd be like a reaction video that I would end up watching, and then I could just cut that into its own like separate VOD that would go on the channel. And so I actually really liked that format of live stream. So that's something that I'm hoping I can end up doing come in, this new year. But we'll see what happens, because honestly, like, I want to live stream, but at the same time, live streaming does take a little bit more energy than me just like casually chilling all by myself. So I'm gonna try my best to kind of adopt that more chill vibe. You know what I mean? So there's that, and then, what's the plan with Trove? Well, those of you that have been asking, am I gonna do new class tutorials? Am I gonna do all this stuff? Yes, I have all plans to finish up some tutorials that I actually hoped to do in 2023, like my dragon coin guide and stuff like that, or more particularly how annoying dragon coins are, some more critical videos on the game. But I am going to end up doing a big slew of repeated content, just basically updating my mod video, the mods that I use, the class builds, and so on and so forth. The only thing that I am a little bit worried about is I will start recording those videos and start uploading those videos, and then maybe, I'm clinging on to copium here, that we'll have a big update in March for Trove that will potentially change all of that. Not necessarily by a lot, but oftentimes whenever I end up like starting all of these repeat tutorials, then suddenly it's like, oh, something slightly changed, and now I have to do updates to the updates. So I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, but at the same time, I can't be bothered to sit and wait to make my updated videos based on like a theoretical new update that we're all hoping happens, but we have no idea because the Trove devs never tell us anything. You know what I mean? So I'm planning on just doing all of that, potentially doing just more general live streams, not even just related to Trove, but just the more chill ones. And then also, as far as other games on the channel, Minecraft isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I've been having a lot of fun with that. I do plan on starting some other, doing some other random videos on the channel, of like random games. In the later portion of 2023, I started bringing back the first look videos that I did long time ago, where basically it's these games that I'll have these games and I want to record a video on them, but I don't want to do a full series. That's kind of what those videos are, The other thing is, as we've already seen, I really would like, where am I? I think I'm lagging really bad. I really would like to bring back like Fortnite and stuff like that, but I just don't see it happening at the moment. However, speaking of that more casual live stream, games like Lethal Company, for example, I think I'm going to consistently do videos on time and time again. There's not going to be any consistency to the upload of said videos. It's just when I have all of the boys all set up and we're all in the mood for Lethal Company, I am not against recording it because that game is always just a fun time. I kept talking about, you know, in 2023, I kept talking about how I would potentially end up live streaming Lethal Company because then at least I could get some content out of it. But then we got the problem of me playing the game solo, and that's just, it's not fun playing that game solo. I like playing it with a group. And as much as I would say, oh, well, why don't you live stream and just let your viewers join? And it's like, yeah, that's a good idea in theory. But I can't moderate people's speech for YouTube if it's live. You know, like if it's a recorded video, then at least I'm doing it with like some friends and I can just tell them like, you know, don't swear and stuff like that. And if they do accidentally, I can just edit it out of the video, right? But when it comes to doing it live, then it's a whole other ball game that I don't really want to risk doing. However, you know, we're trying to get like, I'm trying to slowly get more people involved with Lethal Company in our Discord. So we've actually got like a role for people that have Lethal Company and stuff so that we can just add each other whenever we're all playing. Yeah, another game that I've been still casually having a lot of fun with is Ready or Not. Which I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing any more videos on that. We'll see. You know, it's one of those games that I just enjoy playing passively, and I'll probably just keep playing it and playing it and playing it, and then eventually I'll end up doing like a review video of it or something like that. And speaking of my reviews, that's something that I both want to get rid of the arbitrary numeric score on my reviews, and I don't. I think that the number value tied to games makes a lot of sense. You know, as far as people's brains are concerned, it's like, oh, well, this game's like, you know, it's a 1 to 5 is usually what I do for my rating because I don't feel that there's a reason to go 1 to 10 like IGN does. You know, they do that just because of the clickbait of it. But let's be real, there are not many games that vary enough in quality, especially with IGN's reviews, that warrant them having such a like huge numeric value of rating. And I mean, if I would do like I did it in some of my reviews, if I would do like maybe a numeric rating towards different aspects of the game. So it's like, oh, the story is like a 5 out of 5, but the gameplay is a 1 out of 5, you know, stuff like that. And then if I, you know, was a professional reviewer and had kind of a way to calculate the end all, you know, score of the game, then I could be like, oh, well, this game ends up being a 3.5 just because of all of the other values, right? But personally, I think that as far as a reviewer is concerned, of someone that is passionate about video games and genuinely is sharing my thoughts on these games and stuff like that, I think it's better to just dump the number rating entirely, because what are reviews other than just my opinion on a game, right? And having that numeric value just doesn't really make sense to me, especially because, you know, obviously the opinion of how good a game is subjective. But then on top of that, if I'm being perfectly honest, there are games that I have reviewed that I have given fairly high scores that I would like to have actually given a lower score when I think about it. And that's kind of the thing is, you know, my opinions shift as, you know, I get, you know, more used to a certain game or more tired of a certain game. And so I don't know, like I'm just kind of spitballing here and letting you guys know my thoughts towards the reviews. So if you start seeing no numeric value to my reviews, that would be why. That said, I think that doing the short reviews, I really like doing those. You know, it's a good game if I end up giving it a really long review. And by really long, I mean something that's like 8 minutes or up. But yeah, I'm still kind of coming into my own when it comes to reviewing games. I've always wanted to do it, and I kind of am, you know, I kind of have a formula now that works for me. And I've been really enjoying making reviews because the way that I do it is actually insanely organic. I don't use a script. I know that might, that might be very obvious in some cases, but usually what I'll end up doing is I kind of have a really good idea of what I want to say, for my thoughts, and then I kind of just record myself saying those thoughts over and over again until I end up coming up with something that is a reasonably short video, right? Anyways, speaking of another reasonably short video, my 2023 Game of the Year video was probably one of the funner projects that I've done. However, because I worked on that one video over the course of like many, many months, and I didn't expect that video to be popular by any means, but it was very frustrating seeing the video have barely anybody tune into it. And it's more like, it's not that I'm like, oh, I don't want to ever work that hard on a video again. It's more that it was a learning experience. And while it was a lot of fun having a video that basically summarized all of the games that I played throughout the year that were noteworthy, I think that I'm going to adopt more of the review formula that I have. For my Game of the Year video, I did have a script and everything all writ out, but it was just very analytical, very nerdy, which is generally speaking like how my mind works. And so I found the Game of the Year video quite entertaining. But long story short, I'm just saying my Game of the Year video in 2024 is probably going to be a lot more reasonable, where I will probably start working on it earlier, but I don't think I'm going to dedicate nearly as much time to it. And not that I'm saying that the quality of the video is going to be bad by any means. It's more so setting up a limited amount of hours that I can grind towards this one video in my head so that I don't overdo it. Because that's the one thing that I would say with my 2023 video is there was a point where I was really satisfied with it, and then I kept working on it. And that was the part where it was just sunken cost value, like it was just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm spending so much time on this video that I know isn't going to be popular. And, it's not like I'm doing my videos to be popular in the first place. And speaking of which, I thought, come into the year, let's be real. Let's start talking about, let's break the fourth wall, talk a little bit about the channel and where it's been headed and so on and so forth. Obviously, Trove being the main game on the channel and also being a game that has had the worst year in 2023, just lackluster update after lackluster update, obviously affects my channel, because it means that people are less interested in the game. Views were considerably lower on my channel in 2023. However, my watch time was up. And that actually compensated for the lack of views, which I'm very surprised and very happy about, because it means that I'm doing something right. Because as far as views go on YouTube, I think every channel in the world is suffering from a lack of views or lower amount of views now. Because, I was watching another YouTuber, Iskal, who's a Minecraft channel, and he was even talking about a lot of this stuff, and it just really struck a chord with me, where he was kind of laying it down and saying how like his videos were making like millions of views per, and now his videos are down to like maybe 100 to 200K per video. He's still a big time YouTuber. Obviously, I can't really compare to something like that, but it was really interesting how he analyzed it and how, I think I really underestimate, and I think a lot of us really underestimate how much COVID affected YouTube and just everything in general, right? Because when you think about it, with everyone being all isolated and everything like that, no wonder the views were so much higher. On top of that, what else came out of COVID? TikTok, which to this day, there's still a lot of people that suggest to me that I upload some of my YouTube shorts to TikTok, which honestly would make sense. Apparently the algorithm is really good, and TikTok is just generally very good for exposure, but you don't make money from it. You know, and I'm doing YouTube full time. The real bottom line is I dedicate so much of my time already to YouTube and streaming and so on and so forth. And now even just my real life, which is probably going to get busier because in 2024, I'm sure that Mariko's going to get preggers. Spoiler, she isn't yet, but you know. So anyways, my point being is I have a really good balance with my life right now, and adding in another social media platform that I would have to manage is kind of the last thing that I want to do, which is why I haven't actually like started doing TikTok videos. And because, let's be real, TikTok sucks. It is garbage content. Anyone on there, I don't care. It's trash. You know, it's just super quick, easy clicks, you know, just sitting on your phone on the toilet or in the bedroom and just scrolling through crap, right? I have never been the type of person that has found that kind of stuff entertaining. And I'm not dissing anybody that uses TikTok. Like, I know most of you guys are watching are probably on it right now. But my point is, I just am that type of a person where I never cared for that stuff. Maybe it's just because I'm too old. Maybe I'm a boomer at this point and it just doesn't make sense to me. But I think that being older, maybe it's just the type of person I am, and maybe it's got nothing to do with age. But I like having something that I can dig my teeth into. Like, even as far as YouTube is concerned, I rarely will watch videos outside of my comfort zone. And if I do, I rarely will end up watching the entirety of the video. If I end up watching like a random channel at one point, and if I actually like enjoy their video enough to watch all the way through, I will usually just subscribe and then add that to my daily ritual of like channels that I go through and watch. And, you know, I've talked about this many, many times before, but the main channels that I still watch to this day is, you know, the Hermitcraft, Etho, BOO, some of the others, you know, like Grian and Scar and Tango and stuff. I don't watch all of their videos as religiously as I do with Etho and B-dubs, but yeah, anyway, I'm getting besides myself here. Let's get back on point with what the plans are with real life stuff. That'll be the next step. So as far as real life stuff is concerned, I have still been doing my gym workouts every day. I basically, like, for those of you that don't know, I forget if it was like a year or two ago, short summary is I basically went to the gym for like 180 days in a row, and then eventually you know, I got married and then I just stopped. And since then I slowly would grind the gym here and there, but generally speaking it was just about maintaining, not necessarily building mass or anything. And now I'm kind of at the point where I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm building mass, but I am pushing myself beyond my limits and trying to work out every day again. I'm not lifting super duper heavy weights. Unfortunately, I can't because we don't have like a squat rack or anything like that in our condo, and I'm not about to buy one because we can't fit it here and it's thousands of dollars. Believe me, I know. So essentially I've just been, you know, working out at my very lackluster gym. But it saves me money, saves me $50 a month that I don't have to put towards a gym membership. And then the gym membership, like, the gym is so far away that it became an excuse because we only have one vehicle and Mariko uses it for work. So if ever I wanted to go to the gym, I would have to either drive there, which meant that Mariko had to be home. But when she's home, I want to spend time with her and the pups and stuff like that. And so usually I would only be able to go to the gym if I was on a night shift and could just go in the middle of the night, you know? And even when I say night shift, I mean like quite literally my schedule, because at the end of the day, I'm still doing YouTube full time. Anyways, so canceled my gym membership. Now after months and months hiatus, I am going back to the gym and starting to work out again. It's been a lot of fun doing the new workouts. I do still need to refine it, and I'll end up reporting with you guys in video form when there's actually like any development. You know, like I'll probably do like, here's a month's worth of training, here's, you know, 100 days worth of training, so on and so forth. similarly to what I mentioned with like my live streams and even my videos and stuff like that, I'm kind of curving my expectations to something that is more sustainable in the long run versus like, you know, when I was going to the gym every day, I was really pushing myself, you know, like a couple of years back. And eventually, like when I stopped, it was just like I didn't want to go back. So now what I'm trying to do is sometimes I'll be like halfway through a workout and I'm just like, I'm not feeling it today. And I just leave. And I allow myself that, you know, that cheat. It's like a cheat day, except not for my diet or anything, which, speaking of my diet, I'm not changing that at all. I pretty much just eat whatever I want. I'm just going to try and compensate by adding in, like, I'm adding in a lot more cardio to my workouts this year or this time around. So hopefully that compensates. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. I don't really care that much about my body fat percentage. So long as I'm just working out hard enough, I feel like I'm okay with it. Although I would like to lose weight, if I'm being perfectly honest, most of all in my gut. Everywhere else is fine, but my gut has just been retaining fat, and it's very annoying. But anyways, you know, speaking of more sustainability and all of this stuff, so the main reason why I'm kind of looking at the long game in terms of all of this stuff is probably because I'm getting older. You know, I'm trying to find ways to balance both my personal life and YouTube better than I have in the past. Whoopsie daisy. And more importantly, as I mentioned earlier, we're hoping to have kids this year. And that is going to be a huge life shift for me because, you know, obviously for both me and my wife, but for me, I work at home, which means I am both physically and mentally trying to prepare myself for having to take care of an infant, while somehow balancing work and all of this other stuff. You know, it might get to the point where I just suddenly I'm like, all right, I got to cut something out of my daily routine. Let's cut the gym, right? Because I'm not going to be able to do that while taking care of a baby, right? And I don't know. I'm gonna be real. I'm looking forward to being a dad. I'm not looking forward to taking care of a stupid, dumb baby. Where it's just peeing and pooping all over the damn place, you know? So, yeah, anyways, I've been really trying, like, behind the scenes, the biggest thing that I've been working on outside of YouTube is myself. I'm trying to get ready to be, hopefully, a good dad. There's a point where I understand you can only do the best with what you've got, right? And to that, I kind of don't really hold myself up to too high a personal standard, but I do naturally have a big problem with holding myself up to a high standard. And it can, you know, it affects me every now and then. It's extremely stressful and I don't like it. So I've been trying to kind of dial it back and kind of self-mediate, and kind of tone down my, I guess, like, my mental capacity, or not really, like overthinking things, you know? Which I think is very prone for nerds, you know, like gamers and stuff. I think that we just tend to fire off on all cylinders with our brains. And so I'm trying to kind of tone that down, because otherwise, like, my brain tends to go into, like, dark territory. Not like super evil things or anything like that, but more so just the standard stuff that you would expect, where it's like, oh, am I going to be a good dad? Or, oh, I don't want to teach my kid this, or, you know, that, or whatever. Or, oh, I could have handled this situation better. Like, I'm constantly growing as a human being. And I'm kind of trying to, I guess I'm just trying to kind of grow more, you know? Anyways, I don't know if there's anything else to say, honestly, and now at this point I'm kind of just rambling. I just wanted to let you guys know what the plans were. I am really looking forward to 2024. I don't know if there's going to end up being any other big boy game that's going to be added to the channel for like many years, unless we end up finally getting a Hightail beta or something like that. And then otherwise, next year we've got GTA 6, which I'm definitely going to be adding to the channel and playing a lot if it doesn't flop. It could. It really could. But as of right now, I'm very content with where the channel's at, the videos that I'm producing, and, you know, or producing, whatever. That's a technical term. It's not like I put money, well, I do put my time into it. Anyways, I'm just saying that the only other game that I can see like consistently making a like series on the channel is going to be Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma in March. There might be some other games before then, but there's none that I'm like committed to like playing. It's more like oh, well, we'll see what happens with this one, you know? And then on top of that, Mariko and I are planning on doing a trip to Cuba sometime in sometime at the end of this month, actually. So that'll be fun. And then you can expect some vlogs when we end up doing that. But anyways, now I'm rambling. Thanks for watching. Smash like, sub for more. Buy the merch you want to support the channel. I very much appreciate those of you that watch the videos, those of you that comment, those of you that like the video, and those of you that are members of the channel or buy the merch or use super chat or even the thanks comments and stuff like that. Genuinely, as always, you know, I've said this for many years and I'll still say it now. I am still extremely passionate about doing YouTube. There was times where there was a low point and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this as a living anymore. But now that I've kind of started to dial in just sharing my personality with you guys more so than ever and having a much more organic schedule, like I kind of just, I balance the videos that I want to do with the videos that you guys want to watch versus just trying to satisfy the crowd. And it's had such a positive impact on my morale and just like my mental health and everything like that. And I just want to say, like, even though I don't necessarily comment to all of you guys anymore or anything like that, I genuinely am so grateful that I can end up playing video games full time. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just kind of playing Trove full time. Trove's the one that pays the rent, but but that's also just because Trove's still my favorite game. Like, I still really enjoy it. I can still just kind of ramble on about stuff while playing it. I would love it if other videos on the channel ended up becoming just as popular in the future, but you know, you never know. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it and hope you have a happy new year. Why am I slowly melting?